It started like any other Tuesday. Same commute. Same sandwich from Jimmy John's. Same silence at home. But that night, something was different. I pulled into the driveway at 5:47 p.m. I was supposed to work late. She didn't expect me until after 7. I stepped out of the truck and felt it. That cold breath of something being off. Not fear. Not anger. Just instinct. I didn't rush to the door. I walked slow. Real slow. Like my body knew before I did. The porch light was off. It was never off. She always left it on, said it made the house feel warm. That night, nothing felt warm. I turned the doorknob. Quietly. No jingling keys. No hello. Just silence. I stood in the hallway for 5 seconds. Maybe 10. Shoes off. Breathing low. And then I heard it. A giggle. Soft. Too soft. The kind of sound you only make when you think no one else is home. Then, a voice. Not hers. His. I couldn't make out the words, but I didn't need to. That sound, low, confident, familiar, hit me like a freight train. I knew that voice. I just couldn't believe I was hearing it in my house. I stepped back out the door, pulled out my phone, and opened the camera. I placed it carefully on the bookshelf facing the hallway. Just enough to see who walked out of that room. Then I walked around to the garage. Waited. 7 minutes passed. I counted every second. Then I saw him. Walking down my hallway like he owned it. Buttoning his shirt. My shirt. The one I left in the laundry room 2 days ago. My chest went cold. My mind didn't scream. It just went silent. I watched him open the fridge, grab a water, and sit on my couch. Like he'd done it before. Like he belonged here. She walked out 2 minutes later. Hair tied up. Wearing my hoodie. Laughing. I saw her mouth the words, that was close. I didn't need audio. Her face said everything. They sat there. Talked. Kissed. Like this was normal. Like this was their place now. I waited until he left. Until I heard the door click and her footsteps upstairs. Then I walked back in. She didn't hear me come in. I took the phone, stopped the video, and went straight to the truck. I didn't say a word. Just drove. No music. No calls. Just silence and rage. I parked near the lake. Didn't even realize I'd driven there. I hit play. Watched the whole damn thing. Every second. Her smile. His hand on her back. The way she leaned into him. Like it was love. Like I never existed. And then? I hit play again. I must have watched that video 10 times. Not because I liked it. Not because I wanted to punish myself. But because I couldn't believe it. I needed to see it until it became real. Until it stopped feeling like some sick dream. I stayed in that truck for 4 hours. No calls. No messages. She didn't even check on me. Or maybe she knew. Maybe she figured I saw something. Or maybe she just didn't care. Around midnight, I went back home. Quiet. Careful. She was asleep. Or pretending. I didn't turn on the lights. I didn't slam the door. I just sat in the kitchen, staring at nothing. Her phone was charging on the counter. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. I already had proof. And not just the video. I had her face burned into my brain. The way she smiled at him. The way she used to smile at me. But here's the thing. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even feel sad. I felt focused. Like a switch flipped. Like I was finally seeing things clearly for the first time in years. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was rehearsed. Comfortable. Routine. I started making a list. Not on paper. In my head. All the nights she got home late. All the times she said she was out with Ashley. All the damn times I ignored my gut. They say love makes you blind. No. Love doesn't make you blind. Trust does. And I gave her all of mine. I stared at the microwave clock. 12:41 a.m. And I made a decision. I wasn't gonna confront her that night. I wasn't gonna blow up. I wasn't gonna ask why, or how long. I already knew. This wasn't about getting answers. This was about getting even. And I was going to do it smart. Quiet. Precise. Let her think she got away with it. Let her laugh with him one more time. Because when I make my move, they won't see it coming. The next morning, I made coffee like always. French roast. 2 sugars. Dash of milk. Just the way she likes it. I left her cup on the counter. Steaming. Waiting. Like I used to. She walked into the kitchen like nothing happened. Hair messy. Slippers dragging. She kissed my cheek. I didn't move. She said, "You were out late." I nodded. Took a sip. Said, "Yeah. Needed some air." She smiled. Looked me dead in the eye. No guilt. No hesitation. I wanted to laugh. I really did. That fake innocence. That sweet tone. Like I hadn't seen her wrapped around another man 12 hours ago. But I didn't laugh. I smiled back. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Perfect," I said. And it was. Because now I knew exactly what I was dealing with. A liar. A cheat. A woman who could sleep in my bed, wear my hoodie, and still say, "I love you" with a straight face. I took a long shower. Not to relax. But to think. I needed to start the plan. Step 1, act normal. Give her no reason to panic. No sign that I knew. She went off to work like usual. Same red blazer. Same silver earrings. Same lie. I waited 10 minutes. Then I opened her laptop. No password. Of course not. She trusted me. Or maybe she never thought I'd look. Emails. Texts. Calendar entries. She'd been seeing him for 6 months. Weekly meetups. Mostly at his apartment. Sometimes at our house. Once, in my truck. That one nearly broke me. She wrote things to him she hadn't said to me in years. Things like, "I feel alive with you and you make me forget the rest of the world." Yeah. I bet I did. I copied everything. Photos. Messages. Dates. I loaded them onto a flash drive and emailed them to a burner account. I wasn't going to confront her yet. Not without leverage. Next. I looked him up. His name was Coy. Coy Weller. 37. Divorced. Worked IT at a marketing firm across town. And here's the kicker. We used to play basketball together. 3 years ago. Pick-up games at the YMCA. He knew I was married. Met her once at a cookout. Said she was a gem. He wasn't even subtle. I found his LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. His feed was full of gym selfies, bad motivational quotes, and exactly one photo with her, cropped, blurry, hidden in a group. But I saw it. Her hand on his shoulder. Her smile tilted just enough. I made notes. Patterns. Days he posted. Times she came home tired. It all lined up. This wasn't an accident. This was choreography. I spent the next 3 days watching them. Not physically. Digitally. She thought she was careful. She wasn't. I installed a GPS tracker in her car. One of those tiny magnet ones you can get on Amazon. She went exactly where I thought she would. Twice to his apartment. Once to a hotel off Route 9. I didn't react. I documented. Every step. Every hour. Every lie. I smiled more. Complimented her hair. Cooked dinner. Let her think I was still the same husband. Meanwhile, I was building a case. Because this wasn't just about pain. It was about control. She thought she had all the cards. Thought I was still blind. Still stupid. Still hers. But I was done being hers. I was about to become her biggest mistake. The following Saturday, I surprised her with a weekend getaway. Just the two of us. To reconnect, I said. She beamed. "You so thoughtful," she said. We drove to a cabin in the mountains. Rented it for 2 nights. She packed candles and wine and that dress she hadn't worn since our 5th anniversary. She really thought this was a romantic reboot. We spent the first night playing board games. Watching old movies. I let her fall asleep in my arms. She whispered, "I missed us." I smiled in the dark. Not because I believed her. But because it was the last lie she'd ever tell me face to face. The next morning, I left early. Said I was going for a walk. Instead, I drove 2 hours back to town. To meet a lawyer. A damn good one. She specialized in high-asset divorces. Knew all the tricks. Told her everything. Showed her the files, the GPS logs, the emails. Her eyes widened more with every detail. "You not here to ask for advice," she said. "You here to end this." "Exactly," I said. We drew up the papers. Set the strategy. She told me the exact moment to serve them. Timing was everything. Back at the cabin, my wife made pancakes. Smiled like a teenager. "Feeling better?" she asked. "Never better," I said. And I meant it. That night, we had wine. Sat by the fire. She held my hand. Said she was lucky to have me. I didn't squeeze back. I just stared at the flames. Tomorrow, she would wake up in a different world. One where the man she betrayed wasn't heartbroken, but 10 steps ahead. One where the lies ran dry. One where the game was over. And she was already checkmated. His name was Corey Weller. But to me? He was just a thief. A coward in gym shoes. A man who smiled in my face, while slipping into my house behind my back. I stared at his photo on LinkedIn. Same grin. Same cocky eyebrows. He hadn't changed much since the YMCA days. Except now? He wasn't just a buddy from pickup games. He was sleeping with my wife. I remembered that day like it was yesterday. Backyard barbecue. He brought beer. Joked with my neighbors. Complimented my grill setup. She made him a plate. Laughed at his dumb jokes. I thought nothing of it. Because why would I? That's what fools do. Trust. I scrolled through his Facebook again. His posts were bland. Gym. Cars. Crypto nonsense. But the captions? Winning season. Sometimes the quiet moves are the deadliest. Real subtle, coy. There was one photo from 3 months ago. A shadow of a woman in his apartment mirror. Just her back. But I knew that silhouette. Knew that hair. She said she was in Denver that weekend? Girls' trip. Yeah. Right. I made screenshots of everything. Labeled folders. Created backups. I wasn't building evidence anymore. I was building a weapon. I knew where he worked. Knew what time he went in. Knew where he parked. And most importantly, I knew his weakness. His image. Everything about Coy screamed status. His job. His Instagram. His followers. His little influencer side hustle. He sold online coaching for tech professionals. Promised confidence, leadership, respect. That last word, respect, nearly made me laugh out loud. He was cheating with a married woman. In her husband's house. Drinking his coffee. Using his towels. Respect? No, Coy. You don't even respect yourself. I thought about paying him a visit. Just show up. See the look on his face. But that would be too easy. Too fast. Instead, I went quiet. Observed. Let him keep digging. Because here's the thing about men like Coy, they don't know when to stop. They think they are invincible. Think they'll never get caught. That arrogance? That's where they always fall. Over the next week, I monitored everything. Her GPS logs. His social posts. I knew every place they met. Every route they drove. Every lie she told. And she had no idea. She smiled like nothing was wrong. Kissed me on the cheek every morning. Said, "Love you," on the way out the door. I nodded. Said it back. But in my head? I was already gone. I had a meeting with HR at her company. Not as her husband, but as a silent shareholder. She didn't know I bought 5% of the company last year. Silent investor. No involvement. No voice. Until now. I scheduled a quiet conversation with her CEO. Told him everything. No drama. Just facts. GPS data. Photos. Time-stamped visits. All showing she'd been using company hours for personal pleasure. That got his attention. He thanked me for discretion. Said he'd handle it internally. I smiled. This wasn't revenge yet. This was positioning. I needed her off balance. Not ruined. Not yet. That night, she came home early. Made lasagna. Lit candles. Played our wedding playlist on Spotify. She sat across from me. Smiling. Talking about her friend's baby shower next month. I nodded. Maybe we should take a trip, she said. Somewhere warm. Yeah, I replied. Let's warm things up. She didn't catch the tone. She thought I was healing. Thought I was falling back in love. But the truth? I'd never felt colder. I stared at her fork. The way her fingers curled. The gold ring on her hand. The one I gave her 10 years ago. I imagined it melting. Disappearing. She raised her glass. To us, she said. I raised mine. To clarity. She blinked. Clarity? I smiled. You'll see. The next morning, she got a letter. Hand-delivered. From the company. Suspension pending investigation. She went pale. Read it twice. Then looked at me like she'd seen a ghost. I sipped my coffee. Didn't say a word. Let her sit in that silence. She tried to speak. This must be, there's been some kind of mistake. I tilted my head. Really? She nodded fast. Too fast. Maybe someone hacked my email? I set my mug down. Maybe, I said. And walked out. She called 5 times that afternoon. I didn't answer. I let her sit with it. Let her feel what it's like to be ignored, when your whole world's on fire. That night, she sat across from me again. No candles. No playlist. Just a cold plate of leftovers. Her eyes were tired. Her hands were shaking. I need to ask you something, she said. I waited. Do you think someone's out to ruin me? I smiled. Leaned back. Said, maybe they're just giving you what you gave them. Her face froze. She didn't blink. Didn't breathe. The silence was beautiful. Perfect. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. That's when I stood. Walked over. And whispered, you should call Coy. Maybe he's got answers. Her eyes went wide. Mouth parted. Shock. Fear. Regret. All of it. Right there on her face. But me? I just walked to the door. Where are you going? She asked. I turned back. Nowhere, I said. Just watching the show. Because it was just getting good. I gave her a week. 7 full days of pretending she still had control. 7 days of checking her phone when I wasn't looking. 7 days of pacing in the hallway, waiting for HR to call. She was cracking. She started waking up early. Stopped wearing makeup. Stopped talking to me unless I spoke first. The guilt was eating her alive. And I let it. Every moment she looked at me, wondering how much I knew, was a silent confession. But I didn't need her to admit anything. Because I already had it all. The emails. The text logs. The GPS routes. And the final piece? That video. The one she still didn't know existed. I had it saved in 4 places. 2 drives. 1 cloud. And 1 burner phone hidden in the garage. Just in case. Because when it was time, I wanted it to hit her like a freight train. But I wasn't just going after her. Coy had his part to play too. He'd been quiet lately. No new posts. No selfies. No winning season captions. Maybe she warned him. Maybe he was getting nervous. Good. Let him sweat. Because now, it was time to move. I called my brother, Jake. Told him I needed a favor. Didn't give him details. Just said, I want everyone there. He asked, family? Family. Friends. People who knew us. He hesitated. Then said, you sure you want to do it like this? I paused. Then said, it's the only way. We picked Saturday. Her birthday. Yeah. That wasn't an accident. I booked a venue. Quiet place. Big enough for 30 guests. Cozy lighting. Catered food. Soft music. She thought it was a surprise party. And technically, it was. I even wrote a toast. Practiced it 3 times. Smiled in the mirror. Didn't flinch once. That morning, she wore her blue dress. The one I bought her last Christmas. She curled her hair. Put on perfume. Laughed when I kissed her cheek. "You being mysterious," she said. I just smiled. "You'll love it." We drove together. She asked if I was nervous. I said, "A little." And I meant it. Not because I had doubts. But because I knew what was coming. And once it started, there was no going back. We arrived just before sunset. Guests were already inside. She looked surprised. Touched. Even emotional. I watched her hug her sister. Shake hands with my co-workers. She whispered, "You really did this for me?" I nodded. Then raised my glass. Time to begin. I tapped the fork against the rim. Waited for silence. She stood beside me. Smiling. Proud. Blind. I cleared my throat. Spoke slow. Clear. Controlled. "I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight." A few cheers. Smiles. Laughter. I continued. Marriage is a funny thing. It's built on moments. On small choices. Trust. Respect. Loyalty. I looked at her. She was still smiling. But smaller now. Eyes shifting. Hands clasped tight. I went on. But sometimes, those small choices add up. And what you thought was forever starts to rot. The room got quieter. She leaned toward me. Whispered, "What are you doing?" I ignored her. Pulled out the remote from my pocket. Pressed play. The projector screen lit up. Sound came on. Low at first. Then clear. Footsteps. A laugh. A man's voice. Hers. My wife's voice. Laughing. Whispering. Then, the hallway scene. Him. Coming out of our bedroom. Buttoning his shirt. Drinking from my fridge. The room froze. Her mouth dropped open. People gasped. One woman covered her face. My brother cursed under his breath. And her? She just stood there. Paralyzed. I turned to the crowd. "That," I said, "was recorded 3 weeks ago. In our home. While I was supposed to be at work." She didn't know I came back early. She didn't know I had proof. "And he?" I pointed to the screen. "That's Corey Weller. Some of you might know him. Some of you might even follow his little leadership page online." A few guests looked down. Uncomfortable. Embarrassed. I turned back to her. She was crying now. But not sobbing. Not begging. Just shaking. "I didn't do this to humiliate you," I said. "You did that all on your own. I'm just giving the truth a microphone." Then I raised my glass. To freedom. To clarity. To closure. And I drank. She didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stared at the screen. At what she destroyed. At what she threw away. I walked past her. Out the door. Into the night air. I didn't feel angry. Or broken. I felt clean. And for the first time in months, I could finally breathe. I didn't go home that night. I drove. Nowhere in particular. Just needed space. Silence. No music. No noise. Just the hum of the engine and the sound of my breath. I stopped at an old diner around midnight. Ordered black coffee and a slice of pecan pie. Didn't touch the pie. Just sat there. Thinking. Not about her. Not about what she did. But about what came next. The fallout. The ending. The closure. I checked my phone once. 23 missed calls. 17 texts. All from her. None from him. Coward. But I knew where he'd be. And I was done waiting. At 9 a.m., I parked outside his apartment complex. Waited. Watched. At 9:24, he stepped outside. Gym bag over his shoulder. Phone in his hand. Acting like the world hadn't just shifted. I got out. Walked up slow. He looked up. Stopped. Stared. I said nothing. He opened his mouth. I held up a hand. No words, I said. Just listen. He nodded. Eyes wide. Hands shaking just a little. You knew she was married. He nodded again. I trusted you. I let you in my house. He opened his mouth again. I raised my hand once more. I said listen. He froze. I stepped closer. You didn't just sleep with my wife. You used my life. My home. My things. That's not just betrayal. That's theft. He looked down. Couldn't hold my gaze. I leaned in. You like success, right? You like coaching people. Teaching them how to be leaders. He didn't answer. I smirked. Then lead by example. Own your failures. I handed him a folder. Inside? Printouts. Screenshots. Emails. Photos. Everything. In 48 hours, I said, this goes to every sponsor you've got. Every company you've pitched. Every school you've spoken at. Unless you do one thing. He looked up. What? Disown her, I said. Publicly. Post a statement. Say you were manipulated. Say it was a mistake. Take the shame. Or take the exposure. He hesitated. Swallowed hard. Then nodded. I turned. Walked back to my truck. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. It was done. Later that evening, she showed up at my sister's house. Tears. Makeup smeared. Voice shaking. I didn't mean for it to happen, she said. I was lonely. I felt invisible. I listened. Let her speak. Let her cry. Then I stood. And said the only words I had left. You buried everything we built. You lit the match and smiled at the fire. I'm not here to rescue you from the smoke. Then I walked away. No screaming. No begging. Just silence. A final door closing. The divorce was clean. Fast. Papers signed in 2 weeks. The house? Sold. Split down the middle. I didn't want the furniture. Didn't want the plates or the TV or the damn wedding album. I just wanted my life back. And now? I have it. I wake up early. Run 5 miles. Eat my eggs and toast in peace. No secrets. No tension. Just quiet. Sometimes I sit on the back porch and watch the sun rise. Sometimes I laugh. Not because I'm happy she's gone, but because I'm proud. I didn't fall apart. I didn't lose myself. I got smarter. Stronger. Sharper. And when I think back to that night, the sound, the voice, the laugh, I don't feel rage anymore. I feel clarity. She thought she broke me. She didn't. She set me free. And if I ever see her again, I'll smile. Because I survived her. And I came out better on the other side.